And what did I do about it? Nothing. I can't believe, like seriously, I reckon I could have turned this around in 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, because I'm sure it was a misunderstanding, but I was too busy, couldn't be bothered. Hi, Richard here again from Learn, Implement, Share. So this is the second part of the rapport video, and this one deals more with individuals, again from stories from my background. But I'm going to start with two stories that I'm not happy about. These stories show my lesser lights, but there were two students who I failed to do the obvious with. One student, let's call her Diane. She came to the school, I think in year 10, and we got on fabulously well. I didn't have a lot to do with her. I taught her maths, but I mean, didn't see her in any capacity outside of the maths classroom. But it was obvious that, she got on fine with me. She had no problems. We got on well. And then pretty sure I had her in year 11 and 12, but by year 12, something had happened. And looking back on it, I obviously said something that she took the wrong way or something, but it was clear that she had it in for me. And what did I do about it? Nothing. I can't believe, like seriously, I reckon I could have turned this around in 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, because I'm sure it was a misunderstanding, but I was too busy, couldn't be bothered. And talk about karma, this year 12 group decided to put on a bit of a play, and they kind of took off some teachers, and it was all in good fun, except she took me off, and she didn't really hold back, but she made it very clear that she didn't really like me. And I thought, you're an idiot, Richard. You absolutely could have turned that around. And she obviously had a chip on her shoulder and she thought she'd get the last word in, and she did. So good on her. But so look, don't you do that. If you've got a bit of like that with a student, take them aside, have a fireside chat, find out what the story is. And then the other not good story was that I had a boy, let's call him Peter. I had him from year 8 through to year 12. This was a small school. To be honest, I didn't really like him, because, I don't know, there was nothing that he ever said or did that I could relate to. Like, I was pretty good at relating to kids, but I couldn't find a way in. It sort of grated on my nerves and blah, blah, blah. So that's my own stuff. That's got nothing to do with him. That's me. Right? Because I'm looking at the behaviour rather than the student. And it's not we ever had a fallout, but we never just got on, which is kind of sad given that I taught him for 4 years. I could have gone out of my way. I could have made an effort, but I didn't. And so I don't feel good about that one either. So I'm just being upfront with some of those stories that I don't want you to fall into that trap. If it's a bit out with the student, do something to build some rapport. Now, here's another couple of stories. One was a student who I did have a lot of respect for, but she was a little bit prickly. And because she was in a class, I had a good rapport with them, and I used to rabbit on, and I don't know, I used to kind of have fun with the kids. And I don't know what I said, but I said something to her in class. I'll call her Jezebel. And she took a massive offence, and she kind of railed at me in class, which was not acceptable. And I said, Jezebel, that's not acceptable. We'll have a chat at the end of the lesson, okay? And I wasn't chewing her out, but I thought, here's a classic case. I could have railed at her, and then she goes to the deputy's office and it blows out of all proportion, but I knew that she had misread something that I'd said. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, we chatted at the end of the lesson, and she was really upset. And I let her get something off her chest, and I said, look, the way you responded was not appropriate, but I'm going to let that go. I obviously said something that you misinterpreted. That the way you received it was no way what I had intended, but either way, I made the mistake. I apologise. Will you accept my apology? And over the space of about 30 seconds, you could just see her fuming went from 100% down to 90, 80. It's like she was a balloon, and by the end, she was still upset, but she said, yeah, okay. And then beyond that, we were fine. But had I not done that, we would have had this argy-bargy for who knows how long. So you just need to be very careful. That was a classic situation. If I was a younger teacher, I probably would have gone back at her, and then it's like he said, she said, in terms of who did the wrong thing, but I would have won because I'm the teacher, right? And that's not, and then you just lose respect. So there's a little, you've got to think about how to diffuse a situation if you need to. And the last little story is a bit humorous. I had a class, this boy, and I'll call him George. George was a bit, he didn't really fit into the normal school system either. He was quite smart but very lazy, and he just did outrageous things at times to get attention. Anyway, so I'm walking into the class. This was year 10, so I didn't mind some of the kids would be in the room before me. And as I walk in, I see George in midair, flying across the room with his arm outstretched, and catches the duster that's falling from the whiteboard and lands on the carpeted floor with a big dramatic, ah! And then he sees me, I've walked in, and then the other kids are looking at me, and it's like, uh-oh, what's going to happen here? And so I had these scenarios going through my head. Cheer him out, do this, do this, do this. And I just paused, and everyone was watching, and I just... Excellent catch, George. Now, come over here, because we've got a beautiful desk waiting for you. It's all pristine, clean, because he normally sits at the back. Oh, no, sir. No, George, no worries. Look, this is a beautiful desk here. Look, it's got your name written all over it, and this is yours for today. So that was my response. I was very uptone about the whole thing. I didn't chew him out. He knew, I'd acknowledged what he'd done. No kids died in the incident. I thought that was an appropriate response. He got his bit of attention, and now he's got a punishment or a consequence, and we moved on. And I didn't lose face in the eyes of the other kids, so I thought that was appropriate at that moment. It's the only time I've ever done something like that. But it's that sitting back, I need to respond to this appropriately. How am I going to do it? And for that situation, it was appropriate. So there you go. I don't know if you got anything out of that. It's a few little stories about dealing with kids. Most of those are about not losing rapport, and but still maintaining the teacher authority and so on. So thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of that, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, bye.